Tech Peeps? Welcome back to the Common Tech Files, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes and Heroes Reborn related items. I am Lilith, and on the hunt for specials / evos. With me, as always, is one of them.
It's me, Ricky, and I've got something to bring up, because I'm always going to have something to bring up now. Lilith, did you know that it's been a year since we've been Facebook friends?
Really?
Whole year. Yeah, it came up on my timeline the other day. It's been a year, it seems like.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, that's basically it. You know, we're real friends because we're Facebook friends, so that means real. Obviously. So yes.
Our first session today is episode 410. Thanksgiving.
Sorry, I'm totally leaving in that awkward conversation part.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Speaking of awkward, this Thanksgiving is an episode full of awkward Bennet family dinner, and I'm here for it.
Segue!
Like that. You get those kind of segues after years of podcasting experience. So let's just jump right in. This is really funny because the original air date was November 23rd, which was like literally 2 days before Thanksgiving that year.
Yeah.
So it was written by Adam Armis and Kay Foster and was directed by, Seek Man.
I know, right? So
what about them dear synopsis?
So, 3 Thanksgiving dinners. The Petrelli, Nathan, and Peter confront Angela about the truth with disastrous consequences. The Bennets, a dinner full of drama between Claire and Noah. The carnival folk, Hero travels back in time with Lydia to discover the truth about Joseph's death, while Samuel learns the full potential of his ability.
Extra things you need to know. Doug Douglas, that sounds phony as hell. Amanda Struzella, and Caleb. Doug Douglas. He's the possibly gay man that Sandra brings to the Thanksgiving.
Yes, he is. He's Doug.
His dog.
Yes, his name's Doug because it's so close
Doug
to Doug.
Douglas. That sounds like he's an agent for the company. I'm sorry.
Doug Douglas, who loves his dog. So yes, as Cynthia said.
We got Amanda Struzula, who is Lydia's daughter, who is played by Allie from Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
Sasha Patrice. He's like, I don't watch that.
Yeah, well, I had no idea.
I forgot she was in this. Now we're going to have to watch an episode of Pretty Little Liars when we do the little thing.
Yeah, definitely. We'll watch the one where the person gets revealed, and
no,
that'll be the end of it.
When she comes back from her death. That's the one we're watching. I already got it picked out.
Spoilers.
And Caleb is the guy that works at the carnival. He gets killed by Amanda.
Yeah,
trying to keep her away from her mother.
We've met him in the graphic novels. He has in Yang and Yang. He has a spider.
He's also in the webisode.
Yes, he has spider.
Part 1 and 5.
So, yeah. Anyway,
yes. So let's get started. Where do you want to start?
I'll start off with a quick one, which is basically Hero standing up for himself, which was nice to see. But every time he kind of stands up for himself, he always gets knocked down. And in this one, he gets Haitianed, what is the name of the Haitian guy? No, what is the name? No, what is the name of the Carney Haitian?
Oh, Damien.
Yeah, he gets Damiened, and yeah, then he spouts some gibberish about Sancho or Dr. Watson, and then disappears. So yes.
That was so weird and random.
Yep. But heroes be heroes.
Beam me up, Scotty, which is not the line in this timeline. It is beam me aboard. Just saying.
Next up. So I guess we'll go with which one is the worst kind of dinner that we can go to?
I think the carnival was the most awkward dinner.
Yeah. So we start off with Lydia wanting to know what Hero did because obviously they know he went back in time and Joseph isn't around, so she does her dance for him, I guess is the only way I can say it. She takes her clothes off in front of him, he gets awkward about it, and then she asks to be touched by him. God, they really know how to write women characters.
I was really surprised that Hero didn't fall for Lydia, just on the context. it's revealed that what Samuel asked him to do wasn't to save Joseph, it was to retrieve some film.
Yes.
And that sets off a frenzy. Well, basically what happens is that, like, Samuel tries to blame Joseph's death on Edgar and tries to kill him. Hero stops time and kind of reveals that he's not on Samuel's side anymore, and this, like, that whole thing with the rock. And they go back in, like, time and watch him kill Joseph with the rock. I was just like, damn.
Yeah, and then obviously what we were talking about in the last episode about Hero protecting Samuel carries on, because when he freezes time to let Edgar kind of escape, Edgar says that he wants to kill Samuel. He says, like, no, not now. We'll have to save it for later. And then he kind of says, you got to keep it, you got to save it for a better time. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just weird and awkward and violent. But I just kind of want to save the Bennet family dinner for last, I guess.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about the Petrelli family dinner.
Also, there is something I wanted to bring up, because they've got Joseph kind of, not Joseph, they got Samuel or Mahinda kind of watching the video, and it's kind of weird because I don't know where this is in the timeline, because obviously that's a big thing. Is he the one who kind of caused Coyote Sands, or was it Alice, or did this happen before? They never really say anything about it, so yeah.
I think it happened before they got there.
Okay. Cool.
The pregnant lady that turned out to be his mom, and he was causing all the earthquakes. Or maybe it was supposed to be in conjunction.
Yeah, maybe both kind of, yeah. Okay, so Siler, Angela, Peter.
Okay, so this is how I know Andrea Petrelli is completely broken, insane cow at this point. She is literally attempting to have a Thanksgiving dinner with two sons that hate her, and one being Nathan/Siler that is extremely dangerous, and she's trying to play this game that everything is normal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what have you done with my Mama Petrelli? This is not the Mama Petrelli I know.
I do love it though, because she's still, even though she's doing this, she's still very much Angela. And there's that one point where, she's going, Nathan, you're my son. It doesn't matter what you say, you're my son. And then she goes to walk, and kind of Nyla grabs her, and she looks at him and she just goes, you will take your hands off me and we will have a good family dinner. Otherwise, I will leave and I will never contact you again. And I'm just like, oh, mother's guilt. So strong. So yeah, but you've got suspicious Peter. She's kind of playing like the bereaved mother at this point, and but at the end of the day, she's the reason behind why it happened, and because she played God, and when he turns into Siler for the whole thing, it's weird because obviously he traps them like there, but at the end of the day nothing bad is going to happen because it's only episode 9 or episode 10, whenever it is, and if someone's going to die, it's going to be near the end. It's not going to be in a random Thanksgiving episode where the next week there's going to be an episode. So yeah, I like Siler's taunting of her, saying that she's more evil than him, and he's got.
Wasn't this the mid-season finale?
No, I believe the next one was, because that was Nathan kind of going, for a lack of a better word.
I remember usually in American TV, well back then anyway, Thanksgiving was like right at that time when people were starting to take mid-season breaks, and especially since Heroes always started so early in September.
23rd, 30th. Right. No, I am right. Yes, okay. I win. So yeah, and then they've got that weird moment where he kisses her on the lips. And can you say eatable much? But it's Siler. What can you say? Mummy issues. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I do like the bit where he starts saying, she's more evil than him, and he's got a lot of making up to do in order to get on her level. I really like that kind of bit.
And what really creeps me out is like Nathan is sleeping and having dreams, and like Peter's,
right at the beginning, yeah.
And I'm like,
Creeper Peter.
It's like a knock on the door.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Creeper Peter. Speaking of creepers. Oh, segue, yes. We'll move on to the Bennets, and we'll move on. We'll move on to Creeper HRG, just trolling the producer, waiting for Lauren to show up.
Shout out to single fellas. That actually doesn't work. I would not recommend it.
So yeah, we start off with Bennett, Noah at the produce aisle and inviting Lauren to dinner. Whether it's because he wants to date her at this point or whether it's because he kind of wants to have someone there to kind of counter out Doug is up in the air. But yes.
He wants to date her.
Yeah.
But then again, it might have been just to make Sandra jealous.
Yeah, maybe. They never really say anything about it. It's mentioned in passing whether or not, why she's there. But yes, the Thanksgiving actually starts with Claire turning up early and wanting to talk to her dad, and she doesn't get the chance because that's when Lauren comes in because she's obviously there for dinner. And then the next thing we know, Doug and Sandy arrive, and
that was so obnoxious and gross.
But yeah,
this is Love God, and I'm like, oh my God, he loves your dog. He loves his dog more than he loves you. Run, Sandra, run.
But yeah, it's obvious it's obvious Noah's brought a date at this point, and I don't know whether she's indifferent about it or whatnot, but she seems pretty not happy for him, but just a bit shocked that she doesn't know. But at the same time, she just seems to take it in her stride. So yeah.
And then they start going around the table what they're thankful for, and they just and okay, shout out to Lyle who couldn't show up to his own family dinner, decided to stay at his school for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, what was that actor actually doing? Where he couldn't get a paycheck?
Maybe he just wanted to stay at school. Maybe he wanted to stay at drama school. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. You don't really like Doug, but I kind of like him. I think he's a kook, don't get me wrong, but he's a nice enough fella.
Yeah, he's nice enough, but they were kind of trying to imply that he was a homosexual. You can't tell me different. And it was kind of messed up for them to put that on Sandra after having been in a relationship.
I suppose, yeah.
HRG.
I suppose. I
just want it better for her. Somebody that loved it, at the very least, loved her more than he loved his dog.
Yeah, you wanted someone who was a rock and roll star, like someone from, what was the band that she went to see? Def Leppard, but also read poetry. You wanted her dream, man. So yeah, but obviously it wouldn't be a Claire episode without it being all about her. And when that's when she reveals that, she's sick of lying, she doesn't fit in, and Doug kind of chimes in with his 2 cents of, I've always felt different, because obviously I got teased for, wanting to breed international show dogs. And Claire, instead of listening to it,
in the closet.
Yeah, but Claire, instead of kind of listening to it, just does the spoiled brat kind of thing of look, I can cut myself. That's no there's a slight difference. But at the end of the day, the feeling of inadequacy and not feeling like you belong is exactly the same thing. I thought it was kind of a dick move on Claire's part. But that's me.
She's a spoiled brat. She is. I mean, and then to top off her spoiled bratitude, she gets to have Gretchen as well.
Well, no, it's not that I like when Gretchen comes in, but I like that that's just after he's fainted and there's a knock at the door, and instantly, well, I did anyway, I thought it was going to be the Haitian coming to knock, memory wipe him, and then it turns out to be Gretchen. But yeah.
Which is only there to set up the next episode. That's what infuriated me. And then they also tried to make it seem like Noah was trying to be a good dad, but I don't know.
But I do like the kind of parallels of Claire wanting to find herself, and she can't really do that at college, and she wants to take a year out. I don't know about in America, but in England, in England, maybe 20% who don't go to uni, you've got about 60% who go to uni, and you have about 20% who take a year out and either travel or work to kind of gain money for uni, or some people just sit around and do nothing for a year because they've been in school all their life. And I kind of like that kind of parallel of her trying to find herself, and she's not finding herself in college.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. They also steal the compass, right?
Yes, they steal the compass. They end up in the car, and by the car I mean the Nissan Cube, and
it's back.
Yeah, after telling her dad she's going back to college, they don't. They decide to find the carnival, which is really weird because the last time that Gretchen had any kind of rumblings about the carnival, she left the room because obviously she was nearly killed by Becky, and she's going to a carnival where Becky more than likely is because she'll be home for Thanksgiving. So, and she there's not.
just wanted to destroy Claire's indestructible hymen at this point. So she's along for the ride no matter what it takes.
Oh God. Anyway.
Yeah, this episode was a mess, but it deserves to be a mess because it's Thanksgiving. Anytime you go home for Thanksgiving, because you're not American, you probably don't understand. It's a mess.
Yeah.
What you see on TV is honestly the truth for a lot of people, where you go see your family and they nitpick at you. And I just remember coming home from college all the time, and I just like, oh, the food's so good, but I really don't feel like putting up with everybody. I would just eat and sleep, like try to avoid as much drama as I could.
Fair enough. Okay, so guess we'll go straight into the recap or the review. So, Who is your favorite character of the episode?
HRG, hands down. He's all over the map. First, he's all lusty and seductive with Lauren. Then he's the stern father with Claire. And then he tries to be the good dad by having Gretchen. And then he's like giving Sandra the business about Doug. Just like he had the most like range of emotions and stuff, and he nailed every single one of them.
I'm probably going to go with HRG as well because, you know, why not? He is the best thing about the show at this moment. So yeah, character interactions. This basically is saying which is your favourite Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, hands down the Bennet dinner, but the Petrellis are a close second. So I mean, just be honest, it's really close.
I don't know which one it is because I've got an issue with Claire in the kind of Bennet family dinner because obviously she's a sport brat the whole time and still gets her what she wants at the end of the day. And then you've got the Petrelli family dinner where you've just got this Nyla / Cy Nathan thing going on and you're just like, ugh, this storyline.
Yes.
So I guess it's going to have to be the carnival. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't go that far. For my character interaction, I'm going to go with Samuel and his brother because, you know, we've got this kind of morally grey character the whole time and you kind of suspect that he's kind of killed his brother, but at the same time you don't really know because, you know, he's cruel one minute and then he's kind to the next. And here you kind of are starting to really like get the layers off him and see that he is kind of evil. So yeah, and he plays it with such aplomb at this point. You know, he's charming, but at the same time he can switch it on a dime and just be so evil. So yeah,
that's what we call a sociopath, my friend.
Oh, I love sociopaths.
I don't think he's very high functioning though. Hashtag Sherlock BBC reference.
What are we gonna do next? Next is favorite scene or moment.
Scene or moment, sure, I can go with that. I think my favorite moment is like where Angela's serving the pie, and everybody like literally just looks at the knife and then looks at Nyla.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is gonna be tense.
I'm not gonna say like my favorite scene or moment, but like one of my bad points of the episode is Hero for like another time getting his brain scrambled. The first time was obviously by Papa Petrelli, and I'm glad they didn't make him 10 years old in this one. They just made him like a weird pop culture reference.
On
yeah. But, you know, that was kind of, not a low point. It was kind of a low point because, you know, it just seems like, well, what are we going to do anymore with Hero? So, yeah.
Oh, we can't. He's overpowered.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, he wasn't overpowered, like, at the beginning. At the beginning, he just had the power to stop time, and he still had to work at it. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas now they kind of started to give him the power to go back in time, even though, you know, he can't really work it all the time properly. So, yeah. Anyway, grade. I'm going to go with just an average C, not a C+, not a C-, just a C. It wouldn't be Thanksgiving dinner without it being awkward, and especially the Bennet awkward dinner scene, which always happens whenever they're together. And this is just kind of ramped up to the extreme, and rocking a mic like a vandal, light up the stage and rocking jump like a candle. But anyway, yeah, that's basically...
Wow, Ricky.
That's basically it. How about you?
I'm torn between a C- and a D. Like, We only got glimpses of important things. Other than that, it was just all filler. And I mean, most holiday episodes, unless it's like Buffy, are filler. And not good filler, standalone filler. So it's just like, it was just so tedious.
Okay, fair enough. The only bit of trivia I have is the scene where Scylla kisses Angela and later says, "What have you done to me?" is a callback to a dream she had in an earlier episode, which is the one where,
It's orientation.
Yeah. So yes, enough about said about that. We have 10 episodes of the Slow Burn saga.
No!
The thing about this season of Redemption or Volume is the webisodes and the graphic novels for the most part were concerned with the carnival. And it was nice in the fact that it kind of gave a backstory to kind of the characters who weren't involved in the show as much, but at the same time was pretty non-eventful or was all over the place. So yes, I'm going to go through these really quickly because, they're 1 to 2 minutes long anyway, so there's not much that really happens. So, they're all Lydia's tale is basically the title. So I've got Slow Burn 1. Lydia thinks her daughter is in trouble, so she's got a phone to kind of call her, and it's kind of forbidden to have phones in the carnival life. The reason why she thinks her daughter's in trouble is because a tattoo keeps on moving and they've never really moved on their own. And in behind the scenes, you've got Caleb, who is watching Edgar and Lydia and goes to Samuel and basically snitches on them. The second episode is Slow Burn 2 and has Amanda talking to Lydia, and she's got questions about her life. Why is she with her aunt instead of her? She talks about being a freak and not being able to control her power. Her power is that of spontaneous combustion, but on other things, not herself. So yeah, next up we have Slow Burn 3. We're still on this phone call, basically. Amanda wants to be with her mother, eventually runs away. Lydia sends Edgar to kind of get Amanda, and Samuel knows that something's going on, and Samuel and Edgar start talking, but they don't talk directly about what they're meant to be talking about, that kind of double speak. And basically Edgar makes up a pack of lies about grifting, and he goes to Lydia and sees what Lydia should do about, basically Edgar making money and keeping it for himself, which goes really nowhere. We'll move on to Slow Burn 4. Samuel finds out Lydia's secret. Lydia doesn't want to bring Amanda into the fold because Amanda eventually shows up because the phone or the picture is geotagged or something like that, which kind of makes the whole compass point mute and void because you can find someone through your Sprint device. Lydia's kind of hiding the fact that Amanda has powers from Samuel and ends up with Amanda showing up. We're on episode 5. Basically at this point, the webisodes are running concurrently with the episodes, so this is where we're at now, is Slow Burn's episode 5. That's on the episode we're on, but we're going to just go straight into the rest of them. So basically episode 5 has Amanda wanting to stay, and she talks to Caleb about Samuel, which moves on to Slow Burn 6. Amanda only sees the kind of good at staying at the carnival. She sees the fire breathers and how they're accepted because obviously her power is very similar. Edgar warns Caleb about hanging out with Amanda too much, and it ends with Amanda finally meeting Samuel. We'll move on to Slow Burn number 7, nearly there. So Lydia's thinking about kind of taking Amanda away from Samuel and just not throwing her away, but sending her away again. But Amanda's kind of talked round into joining by Samuel, which moves on to Slow Burn 8, where Samuel introduces Amanda to the carnival family as a whole, and we realise that she's going to be staying. We move on to Slow Burn 9, where this is where we're at, because Edgar's left at this point. Amanda's kind of starting to see the bad side of the carnival, and Caleb is always watching Amanda, kind of like keeping her, not under wraps, but kind of keeping control of her, whilst kind of Samuel's reprimanding Lydia, and it ends with Amanda killing Caleb. And then there doesn't seem to be any ramifications, because obviously we move on to Slow Burn 10, where she kind of blames herself, but Lydia kind of blames Samuel. Amanda labels herself a killer, but she's now part of a show with the fire breathers, and we kind of know that Edgar's on his way back. And that was it. It kind of is all over the place. At 1 and 2 minutes as well, they're kind of not hard watches, but they kind of jump from thing to thing, and it just kind of doesn't really work really well, I think anyway. What did you think of the slow burn series?
It was tedious and unnecessary because at the end of the day, it's all just a moot point, right? Like the carnival's a moot point at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Definitely.
So, I mean, we knew this by this point too, though. So it's just like, it was fun getting backstory, but we could have been spending time on, like, say, Mama Bennet flashbacks or something that I actually care about. So
fair enough.
something I want to bring up about Slow Burn is that four different writers kind of split the duties. We had Oliver Grigsby do a few. We had Foz McDermott do a few, Zach Crayley and Jim Martin and Harrison Wilcox, who only did one, which was part 3. So I think that that's really unusual for a webisode series.
Yeah.
As well.
I think that's why it kind of felt disjointed as well, probably.
Yeah. But they were all directed by the same two people, Chris Hanada and Tanner Kling, who do a lot of the webisode stuff. So
cool. So that's basically all we have to say about Slow Burn. So we'll just move straight on to the live tweets.
Yes, please.
The following people were tweeting, retweeting, or faving during the live tweets. We have Danny_Von, English Idiot 101, and Cinzia667. And we also have a little bit of feedback. I have basically when we put the photo up on our Facebook wall about this episode, I got two kind of comments on it. One, and they were both from Willow Paulson. The first one says, "F this episode in particular," and then I replied back, "Not a fan, eh?" And she replied back, "Nyla should never have happened." And then
I said I agree.
So yes, thanks to Willow for, at least sounding out about the episode. Yes, next up I have our favourite English Idiot 101, Charlie. She says, "Thanksgiving was a weird one, and just because I don't understand Thanksgiving. The Bennett dinner was awkward to say the least. I don't like Sandra's boyfriend, but I quite like Lauren though. I'm glad Noah invited Gretchen and we got to see her as a last-minute surprise. Samuel was just evil in this episode, poor hero. I'm undecided on Lydia from my second watch, but I understand her motives after Hero took her back 8 weeks ago. The Petrellis was very somber, with Angela finally revealing what happened to Nathan and Sila, and then Sila take control and is, for a few minutes, back to his old self. I quite liked it, but it may require a few more viewings."
Oh, don't do that to yourself, Charlie. For your sanity, don't do it. Oh, I want to bring up something because it's random fandom collision because I was watching the Vampire Diaries, like I'm doing the catch up or whatever. And okay, so Lydia, Dawn Olivery, is in Vampire Diaries, and then I totally forgot until last night that Jack Coleman was freaking Candace Nicola's freaking dad for like 3 episodes.
These are just random words which have no
meaning to me. You
don't
watch the Vampire Diaries?
I've watched a select few episodes of the Vampire Diaries.
Season 1 and 2 is the bomb.com. Half of season 3 is the bomb.com, and then it's just all downhill from there. But
I watched a few episodes for Vampire Diaries binge we did for TV binges, and I had no clue what was going on, and I have never gone back to rewatch them. So yes.
I have to rewatch the one where HRD, because he's still morally grey.
Oh well,
awesome.
When we go back to these rewatches of episodes of stuff with people in them, that may have to be one of the episodes. But there's so many for Jack Coleman because we could just end up watching an episode of Castle instead. So yes.
No Castle. Castle's for old people. No offense.
Fair enough. Okay.
Anyway, looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at primatechfiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn And if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80 plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that can interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDS. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
Finally, we are at the wrap up. We want to thank you for joining us on this discussion of episode 410, Thanksgiving. We hope you found our conversation entertaining and informative. I want to remind you guys to keep sending in those emails. Please don't be afraid to interact with us on our social media accounts, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. We do appreciate it, and we love reading them, as you can tell.
Download the podcast, save the world.